But the last big staple for the Jesus diet as we close is fasting. Now, we've talked about how the Essenes would fast a lot. Jesus essentially gives this prescription, and I'll read the quote, but the prescription is essentially intermittent fasting every day. You eat within an 8-hour window or something like that. Give your body about 16 hours a day of not needing to digest food. And then once a week, on the Sabbath preferably, you do some type of 24-hour fast. And so we'll unpack that. But here's what the quote says. Trouble not the work of the angels in your body by eating often. For I tell you truly, he who eats more than twice in the day does in him the work of Satan. And forget not that every seventh day is holy and consecrated to God. On 6 days, feed your body with the gifts of the earthly mother. But on the seventh day, sanctify your body for your heavenly Father. And let not food trouble the work of the angels in your body. And God will give you long life upon the earth. One quick thing here, James, we haven't touched on is when Jesus says the work of Satan, he doesn't mean like Satan himself will possess your body or something. He means the work of Satan, meaning death, destruction, dissolution, decay. The work of Satan is, disease, right? It's what deteriorates life. What does not produce life is the work of Satan. God is the God of life. Satan is the God of death and disease and suffering. So that's all he's really referring to is like that two ways philosophy. And so the key here is, as we said before, digestion is the most energy expensive process in the body. Even biology reveals this, James, where biologists will look at the ribosomes in your cells to determine how fast you're aging and what your biological age is. It's one of the metrics for longevity, because the more calories you consume is the faster your cellular turnover is going to be, aka the faster you're aging. Your skin cells, all the cells in your body are always replicating. And when they replicate faster, you're turning them over faster, so you're aging quicker. So what you want is a slower cellular turnover because your cells are so healthy. So this is why fasting is another huge code, like the sugar in fruit, just giving you energy, burning body fat. Fasting is very similar. It activates longevity hormones. It allows your body to go into autophagy and cellular cleaning, which is also very good for extending your lifespan. So the idea is, if we know that the body does best on a lower calorie diet, then what we can do is we can squeeze our food into about 8 hours a day. And then for 16 hours a day, we're giving our body a break from digestion, which means it can clean up the cells, which means it's going to slow down the rate we're aging. We're going to have more energy, feel more vitality, and so forth. If you're always digesting food, right, you're going to feel slow and sluggish. You're going to have brain fog. You're going to not sleep as well. There's a certain way the body's meant to work. You have the AMPK, mTOR balance. Like, you've got to figure out the way that God intended your body to work, or there's going to be consequences. And one of the ways God intended our bodies to work is that we don't need to eat food all the time. I mean, what a burdensome way of living would that be if like God made it so that we have to eat every 2 hours, like people say? Like, what a freaking drag that would be. I would rather just get my food in a few hours and then go enjoy my life and feel great. And so that's what Jesus is prescribing here with the intermittent fasting. So to me, James, the intermittent fasting is the most important part of this. If you can just do intermittent fasting, even 7 days a week, and don't even do the 24-hour fast, you're off to an amazing start. There's so many health benefits to intermittent fasting alone. But the reason I've changed my mind a little bit on the 24-hour fast, James, is that I did this initially with like a water fast. You and I were doing this actually. We would do a water fast every Sunday, and then we switched to juice fasting, and that was a little bit better. But what I learned is that I can't eat enough calories if I'm taking one whole day off every week to maintain the level of lean body mass that I want and some other things. So I changed it to a fruit fast for me personally on Sundays. So the way I'm teaching the Jesus diet now, James, is a little more flexible on the 24-hour fast portion. What I'll say to people now is just do some kind of fast on a Sunday or whatever day of the week you want, because it's more about the spiritual implication than anything else. If you're doing intermittent fasting every day, you're kind of covering your bases with fasting. You can definitely overdo fasting, just like you can underdo it. People that fast too much run into some big problems with their metabolism, with their insulin, and so forth. So we have to find balance with fasting too. So what we do now is like a sugar fast or a fruit fast, where we'll just have fruit or fruit juice or honey on a given day, pretty much just carbohydrates. And there's a lot of amazing health effects from that in and of itself, but it's more about the spiritual implication of when I fast, I'm consecrating this day to God. I think that's the more important dynamic there in the 24-hour fast.
Brothers and sisters, if this message is resonating with you, I think you will also love my company, Organic Muscle, which I started 11 years ago. We make clean, organic, plant-based supplements that can help you live an aligned, healthy, flourishing lifestyle modeled after Yeshua and the Essene. So check out organicmuscle.com. Peace and love, y'all. Yeah, the fasting is just a remarkable practice for everyone, as you said, Aaron. If there's one thing you could do that will benefit your life and your health, it is fasting. So intermittent fasting is a tremendous way to get the ball rolling and establish some momentum. And totally hear you about if you're trying to keep your body weight and energy, the fruit fasting is so effective. It's just a game changer. I will say that the water fasting and the more extended fast can serve a great benefit for autophagy. But even more than that, if you're struggling with addiction or a noisy mind, fasting is extremely effective because it gives you an opportunity to conquer your own mind. And Hasatan, the adversary, because he comes whispering, "Oh, come on, eat, bro. Come on, go to the fridge, eat." And you just like battle for a day or two that voice, and eventually you build that muscle where you could overcome the voice that's telling you to do something that you don't want to do. That I've consecrated this day to God, I'm not eating. And you literally can defeat the voice of the devil in your mind, and that carries over into your life after the fast ends, where I found after a long fast I could say no to temptation much easier. So that's the real benefit. But in certain circumstances, it can, slow down your metabolism. It could have some negative effects if it's done too much, or if you're at a low body weight, it's probably not necessary or even helpful at that point. But this is why, Aaron, this is so helpful, because we're giving a nuanced, flexible view of all these things. And it's up to your own discernment to come in here and look at this food diet and the fasting protocols and decide what is correct for your individual situation.
Yeah, well said, man. And in fact, in the Essene Gospel, the first story, I believe, is a bunch of sick people come to Jesus, and he gives them the prescription of a 7-day water fast, and all their diseases are healed. And if you've ever done an extended water fast, oh yeah, that's one way to heal the body. It is not easy. It's very difficult, but you reach a certain threshold that's incredible to experience for yourself, to give you a real tangible taste of just how amazing you can feel when your body's full of prana and energy and LFE and all that, and you're not weighing your body down with tons of digestion. It's like a whole new level of consciousness gets unlocked. But it takes about 3 days usually to get over that hump where the detoxification's really dragging you down for a while, and the hunger pains and all that. But the hunger signals, the ghrelin gets shut off, and then you just start soaring and feeling amazing. And I've heard people heal like any kind of disease or ailment or injury you can think of. I've had people have broken bones that healed within, a couple of weeks because they did a 7-day water fast. And the autophagy it does almost miracles in your body. It's pretty amazing. So all that to say, like, if you feel called to do a water fast every Sunday like we did, absolutely. If you want to do a juice fast, absolutely. If you want to do a fruit only fast, if you want to do a rice only fast, pick your fast. It's up to you, right? But do something that is somewhat challenging for you, because the whole purpose is that fasting builds spiritual willpower, which is what you were kind of touching on there, James. So we'll stop the presentation there, and we'll just kind of wrap up by saying that, again, we're not proselytizing any kind of belief system that you have to follow. We're giving this to you today as a new option that you can take and try for yourself. And we do encourage you to try it. And again, customize it the way you want. But for us, our philosophy on this is simple. Just try to move towards truth. If it's too scary for you to think about going off of meat today, and you're like, I don't know if I can do it, guys, I hear what you're saying. I hear the arguments, but I don't know if I'm ready yet. No problem. Just do something that moves you towards truth. I was at a book signing event this week for my book, The Three Beliefs of Ego, in LA. And Stacy was there, and she was glowing like she always has before. And there was a guy in that conversation with us who said, Aaron, everything you say about killing animals and flesh consumption just totally resonates. I know you're right about this, but I'm just too afraid to go off meat, man. I don't want my hormones to tank. And like, how do you do it? And I said, don't worry, man. We got an episode coming for you that's going to unpack all of this. And this is the only prescription we'll give you. Just move towards truth, whatever that feels like. If you feel like you could be a little bit healthier, then just make one change in your diet or lifestyle today that can move you towards that better level of health. If that's giving up meat, great. If it's going pescatarian, great. If it's going on eggs and raw milk instead of protein from meat, that's great. But if you're moving towards truth, you are following the Jesus way. God doesn't expect us to be all perfect and never make a mistake or something like that. We're all evolving. We're all on a spiritual journey. That's the whole purpose of life. So there's no judgment in this toward anybody in any kind of diet. But we want to help everybody thrive the way that we're thriving and feel the same level of health and vitality that we enjoy every day. So that's why next week we're going to do a deep dive into our blood levels. We're going to show you before and after pictures, DEXA scans. We're going to give you all the proofs that you want to see to know that this diet really does produce amazing health benefits for the human body. And it can do that for you as well.
What's up, my friend? If you are enjoying this content, I would truly appreciate if you could do me a solid and click the subscribe button. This will help our channel grow and spread the good word. God bless.